One thing that really intrigued me when I was reading through the ransomware book is you kind of netted everything out into nine exploit root causes. All exploits kind of come from these root causes. It seems like there's a strategic way to use that to maybe generate or measure your progress over time or validate instead of having to worry about, like you mentioned, all the latest techniques and everything. If you try and hold the root cause in, front and center, it seems like a problem of nine root causes is a lot easier to solve than 1,000 or 100,000 different ways someone could get in. Have you ever given any thought to that and how people can use that over time to mature and create defense in depth? And
yeah, I got to send you a check. I wrote a book on it called Data Driven Computer Defense. But so I noticed I started collecting what are the ways that malware and hackers break in about 22 years ago. And pretty soon, let me say the list has morphed a little bit. I called things different things and I categorized things, but it's really what I was amazed is that over the last 20 years, it's the same thing. And even though the platforms and the things they're attacking are different, possibly, it's really the same types of attacks. I mean, first ransomware program, 1989, right? It's not new. But let me say, people focus, if I could say anything, what is the thing that I would most want to communicate to any listener? It's that you need to focus less on ransomware or whatever you're worried about, past the hash attacks or, whatever. You need to focus on the root causes of exploitation, because there's like 9, maybe 10, depending on how you categorize them. Number 1 being social engineering and unpatched software, and then authentication attacks, number 3. And they haven't changed over the entirety of computers. Social engineering and unpatched software, number 1, number 2, 30 years ago, they still are. When you've got ransomware is not your problem. It feels like your problem, especially if you're encrypted and down and having to pay all that money. But it's how the ransomware got in that is your real problem. What I mean by that is that you could just totally wipe away. It's like a wave a wand and go, okay, ransomware is no more. Because I lived in the day when ransomware wasn't here. I'm going to probably be alive when ransomware is handled and not such a big problem. If you don't close the holes that allow people into your devices and environment, it's just going to be something else. It's going to be some other type of hacker or remote access Trojan or some key logging Trojan. Your problem isn't ransomware. That is a symptom of your real problem. Let me say, if someone's breaking into your house, right, and you got all these people breaking into your house and they're stealing different things all the time, well, the problem isn't what they're stealing when they're in your house. It's how they're getting into your house. Is it the doors? Is it the windows? Is it the floor, attic, roof, basement? If you don't figure out how they're breaking into your house and close those holes, when you arrest the thief that's in your house, it's just going to be other thieves coming. And that's what I'm saying about concentrate on how people are breaking into your devices more. It's easier. It's 10 things versus concentrating on the 18,803 vulnerabilities we had announced last year. And it really is there is no way to solve computer security without focusing on just those 9 things. Everything else is a waste of time. It is an absolute waste of time. What most of us were, and it's so weird. So at least 90% of all successful attacks are due to social engineering and unpatched software. Yet the average organization only spends about 5% or less to mitigate those 2 problems. So we're buying and looking at all these shiny objects, and a lot of them, and listen, that's why I work at Noble for. I know I'm running on here, but I worked at Microsoft for 11, 12 years. I was doing advanced Windows security stuff. I was doing multi-factor authentication. I was doing PKI. I was putting in all these advanced systems. And I was doing it on time, on budget. I was winning awards and I was getting promoted to Microsoft. Every one of my customers still got hacked. How did they get hacked? Unpatched software and social engineering. Right. And I started to realize, hey, am I focusing on the right problem? Right. It turns out I wasn't. So I literally, that's why I left Microsoft and went to KnowBe4. I was like, okay, I started looking, okay, who's fighting this problem? Social engineering, KnowBe4. That's why I am where they are. But we all should focus more on it. And anytime we're not, we're being distracted against the top 2 problems.